Welcome to Inspired Echoes, where we explore the whispers of the soul and the mysteries that shape our journeys. Today, we dive into the sacred signs of a life-changing encounter, guided by the wisdom of Carl Jung. If you've been sensing a shift, a stirring deep within, this video is for you. Let's uncover the echoes of your psyche together. Sign number 1. Your inner world feels like it's being reshaped before they even appear. Something within you begins to shift. Not loudly, not all at once, but quietly, like furniture in a dream being rearranged in the dark. You may wake feeling disoriented, as if your desires no longer fit your life, as if your heart is carving space for something or someone you can't yet name. Jung taught that transformation begins in the unconscious. So, before the soulmate arrives, your soul starts preparing the ground. Old patterns surface. You confront things you thought were buried. Wounds, longings, memories, fears. You might feel restless in familiar places, distant from people you once felt close to. The things that once satisfied you no longer do. This isn't depression. This isn't confusion. This is reorientation. You're being tuned, like an instrument adjusting its strings to a new melody. And often, that melody isn't meant to be played alone. Jung believed the psyche senses what's coming before the mind can grasp it. So, if your inner world feels like it's unraveling, don't panic. Pay attention. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt. This sacred disarray signals that the soul doesn't invite transformation when the house is tidy. It invites it when it's ready to be remade. And sometimes the person who helps you rebuild is already on their way. Sign number 2. Synchronicities begin to grow stronger. As your inner world shifts, your outer world starts whispering back. You see a name repeatedly. You hear a song from your childhood in a cafe, the same one that played in your dream the night before. Strangers speak about the exact topic you've been wrestling with silently. This isn't coincidence. It's synchronicity, one of Jung's most powerful and mysterious concepts. He believed that when the unconscious stirs, it doesn't just move within you. It bends the world around you to reflect, to echo. The psyche, he said, arranges outer events to mirror inner change. So you notice patterns, symbols, numbers. You're drawn to a place without knowing why, and find something meaningful waiting. You sense life is conspiring, not to test you, but to guide you. Synchronicities are the soul's breadcrumbs. They don't always lead straight to the person. Often, they lead to the version of you ready to meet them. So, if the signs feel louder lately, if reality itself feels like it's locking eyes with you, don't dismiss it. This is the psyche's poetry, its way of saying you're close. Sign number 3. You start meeting parts of yourself you've long ignored. The person who will change your life isn't just someone out there. They meet you where you've never met yourself. Before that encounter, your psyche calls you inward. You feel emotions you thought were buried, grief that visits suddenly, desires you were taught to suppress, fears that rise not to punish, but to be seen. This is shadow work, the process of reclaiming the rejected pieces of who you are. Jung believed the people who impact us most aren't random. They're mirrors. They reflect our unconscious, our hidden wounds, our unlived strengths, our deepest longing for wholeness. You might confront your fear of intimacy, only to later meet someone who sees past your armor. Or Your inner feminine might soften just before you meet a man who mirrors her grace and strength. These meetings don't happen when we're perfect. They happen when we're real, when we've done enough soul excavation to stand before another and see not a savior or a fantasy, but a reflection. As Jung said, we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are, or who we're ready to become. Becoming that person is the true preparation. The soulmate is simply the echo. Sign number 4, a deep calm or knowing settles in. After the restlessness, the signs, the strange synchronicities, something shifts, not outside but within. You stop chasing love, seeking validation, or molding yourself to be seen. A quiet, sacred stillness emerges. You may not have met the person yet, but your soul whispers they're near. This isn't fantasy or anxious hope. It's a deep, rooted knowing, the kind that comes when your inner and outer worlds align. Jung would call this the self, the deepest center of your psyche, moving into conscious awareness, not as a concept, but as an embodiment. You stop looking for someone to rescue you or fill your gaps. Instead, you feel worthy of a deep, conscious connection, not because you need it, but because you've become it. Jung pointed to this paradox. You attract what you've already cultivated within. Even if the person hasn't appeared, the desperation fades, the magnet is active, the signal is sent. Jung wrote, loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate what matters most. But now, you're ready to speak those things, not to just anyone, but to the one who will recognize them. When you reach this still point, life listens, because your soul is finally speaking clearly. So, who is this person you're about to meet? They may not arrive as you expect. They might not be a lover, perhaps a teacher, a friend, a creative collaborator, or even a stranger you meet only once. But their presence will mark a psychic turning point. Jung believed these encounters are archetypal, carrying mythic weight. They activate the self, awaken dormant parts of you, show you who you become or who you're still afraid to be. They don't complete you, they reveal you. Sometimes they arrive when you've surrendered something, other times when you least expect it, but most need it. One thing is certain, after they appear, you cannot return to who you were before, not because of them, but because of what they showed you in yourself. Jung said, we meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life. This meeting, whoever it is one of those sacred disguises, a mirror, a message, a doorway disguised as a person. So, if the signs are stirring, if your soul is whispering, how do you prepare for such a sacred encounter? Not by searching outward, but by becoming the version of you who can truly receive it. This isn't about effort. It's about alignment. Journal your deepest fears and desires. Tune into the quiet nudges of dreams. Follow synchronicities over logic. Meet the shadow through therapy, art, or honest solitude. Go where your spirit feels most alive. That's where they'll find you. The more authentic you become, the less you need to strive, because the soul doesn't attract what's perfect. It attracts what's true. As the mystic Rumi said, echoing Jung's deepest teachings, your task is not to seek for love, but to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Somewhere, someone may already be walking toward you quietly, unknowingly, drawn by the same invisible current. They don't know your name, but their soul remembers your frequency. You won't need to chase them. You'll recognize them, not with your eyes, but with something older, deeper. Your soul will exhale. When they arrive, there may be no fireworks, just a stillness, a sense that time folds in on itself, and everything feels softly inevitable. Because in truth, this was never just about meeting them. It was about meeting yourself fully, nakedly, unapologetically, so that when they appear, you'll know how to be met. This is the soul's work, the alchemy Jung called individual.